From boyhood, I had a feeling that the stories embedded in the Ramayana, Mahabharata or in the Puranas are not cock and bull stories. They have probably some touch with reality. But this takes us to a very intricate position. In that case, we have to alter the change so far as known process, known course of history. But still, the feeling was in my mind that these are not cock and bull stories, these are genuine. And with this belief, up to my postgraduate class, I went on studying the Ramayana and the Puranas and the legends, apart from my study of the Vedic of the Sanskrit literature. And fortunately, sometime in 1979, Eric von Daniken, in 75, Eric von Daniken came to Calcutta, and I met him, and he was very much pleased to hear of me from other sources also, because when I was in Oxford, I wrote a letter to him. He remembered that, and he inquired about the technical aspect of these regions. Of course, the technical aspects were not known to me at that time. Still, from my knowledge of the of flying machines and aeronautical science, the very meager one, still I suggested that these have something real basis. And I refer to Saran Sutradhara, chapter 31, wherein there is a description of a wooden flying machine. When I was in Oxford, I placed this description before my revered teacher, Professor Thomas Barrow. He was surprised. He said in the 12th century there was such a thing in India and we do not know. However, he sent me to the director of Jordan Bank Observatory in Manchester with a forwarding letter. When I met the director, he heard me, he paid a patient hearing, and then took out a book which was nothing other than History of the Sanskrit Literature written by Professor A.B. Keith, and therein he checked the date of the Saran Sutradhara. And it was his first query, why your learned scientists are not taking up this? I felt a bit embarrassed, so I replied that I have come to you to know about the technical aspect or the truth or otherwise of this description, and you are parrying the question. He said, no, I am not parrying, but I am thinking that such an important thing has escaped the notice of the scientists of your country. However, this is true, and this description, it confirms the technical aspect. You go on India according to text. It was very encouraging to me, and I told this to Daniken. Daniken put me in touch with Joseph Blumrich, the designer of Saturn rocket and Skylab-based vehicle and a scientist of NASA, with him. I went to Munich in 1979, August, and in Munich I delivered a lecture on the flying aspect of the Vimanas. I took up details from the days of the Vedas, then from the Ramayana, then from the Mahabharata, and from classical Sanskrit literature like Saran Sutradhara, and also Katha Sagar, where is a description of an wooden flying machine by two brothers of Bardwan. So I gleaned all these details and placed it before a large assembly in Munich. And in Munich it created, in the language of Daniken, a tumult, and it sent a shockwave throughout Europe. So I received at least 2,000 letters. When I returned to India, from within a year I received 2,000 letters, all congratulating me and all inquiring about the technical aspect of this, of the flying machines. So I wrote to Joseph Blumrich, giving details of the texts which I have studied, from the Vedas up to the Ramayana and Mahabharata. And it goes to the credit of Joseph Blumrich that he took up my request with all earnestness, and he gave me a reply in about 20 pages, typed pages, wherein he described the technical background of these planes. Before going to Munich, I met a technician here, a professor of the Calcutta Aeronautical Technical School in Bhandar, Professor T.K. Dev, and I discussed all these matters with him. He gave me a drawing, which is in my book Vimana in Ancient India, and he said that it is a triangular delta type plane. From the description it goes. I told Mr. Blumlich about this finding, and Mr. Blumlich gave me a detailed description of a delta type flying machine, and I incorporated all his suggestions in my book. I shall be happy to go through my book, and I do not remember all the technical details just at this moment. But I can say that it is a delta wing and VTOL type plane, and it was probably supersonic, not only subsonic, it was supersonic, and the descriptions are so neat and so clean that one is astonished at the possibility of having a flying machine. The most important point is that this triangular flying machine had 3 tanks full of combustible fuel, liquid fuel. Liquid fuel is almost an improbability in that age, but they have used the term Rosho in a very wide sense, anything liquid, and it may be from vegetable source or it may be from animal source, from decomposed animal bodies, anything, from any oily substance. That is clear that the text shows some oily substance was used, and the plane soared as high as 30,000 feet, so far as I recall. And with this description touched the mind of other scholars also. Professor Harry Buffet of the Munich Technical University, he also invited me to deliver a lecture when I at Vienna in 1983, and therein I described all these details, which was Joseph Blumlich's findings and my findings. The technicians there, they agreed that it was a delta wing plane and with running liquid fuel kept in 3 tanks, and it had a motion capacity for at least 7 persons. It is a small delta flying machine, but in the Mahabharata and in the Saran Sutta, the descriptions make accommodation for about 10 or 12 persons. The description of the Ramayana, when after the fall of Ravana, Ramachandra was coming back to Ajodhya with in a Pushpaka plane. The descriptions are very neat and clean. Therein it is said that Ramachandra with Lakshmana, Sugriva, Hanuman and 2 other members, and there were 6 members, boarded the plane at Lanka. From Lanka it went high up in the sky making loud noise, and the plane was tapering size. It is like a hill, looking like a hill, triangular plane. And from that plane, when Sita was going with Ramachandra, they could see the billowy ocean with aquatic animals throwing water, and fishes are flying, fishes are swimming above the sea level. They could detect all these, and then came over to the hills of the hill of Malaya. The Malaya Parvat, I mean the Purvaghat hills at present, which are called the South Indian plateau, and from that they came over to the Hyderabad, they had a takeover. From Hyderabad, Sugriva's wife Tara and several other ladies boarded in the plane. After that, the plane went to Nasik near Sarabhanga Muni's, Sarabhanga near the hermitage of Sarabhanga Muni. And when the plane was passing above the temple of, above the hermitage of Sarabhanga, it came so near that the shadow of the plane was obstructing Sarabhanga Muni's sight. He was practicing penance, and at that time, when the plane came, the sight of the shadow of the plane obstructed his eyes. So, with his hands, he prevented the shadow of the plane falling on his eyes. And from that place, it is near Nasik, from that place, the plane took an eastward course, and over the Aravalli hills they flew and came near Saraju, modern Jamuna, Saraju, and took a short stopover to take over Bharatha. And when the plane landed on the place where Bharata was standing, the people came and they looked at how the plane was flying and how many people it had in its internal chamber. Bharata came and boarded the plane, and the plane came over to Ajodhya. The description is so unique that it says that when the plane of Ramachandra, Puspaka Vimana, when it came near or grounded near Ajodhya, a flight of stairs were thrown before the plane. And that's like a modern plane, with a stage of flight of with an array of steps made from brilliant and dazzling metal. The steps, there are about 20 steps, and through these steps, Ramchandra, Sita, Bharat, Lakshman and all others came down. And their description is Stimito Javena, the speed was controlled. Technically, this is a very clear description corresponding to a modern 2 days flight from Delhi to Lanka, through the Aravalli hills, Nasik, Pune, covering the Bhandar region, and then taking a southward course via Madras. It was about a 2.5 hours flight, and this flight covered about 1,000 miles, so to say. And now this description also corresponds to Vimana Shastra, the book which has been published from Madras. This is a very picturesque description. Of course, Kaliyasa has followed Ramachandra. He had probably more details than ourselves from the Ramayana. So, he followed Ramayana, and this has become a very, very, very clear and very appreciative text. All these details were placed by me before the learned audience at Vienna, and the audience was so charmed that they made me an honorary and special member of Anti-National Society. However, the details became clear, and there was demand for making a book. So I placed all these details in the form of a book. And after completing these details, I sent it again to Joseph Bloomlist, who corrected all these descriptions, taking them from the technical viewpoint, and I also took the help of the Vimana Shastra, which has been published by J.R. Joshia from Madras, from Bangalore. This book, I have this book with me. This book describes the history of Vimana Shastra from the beginning. Now, the book states that once Brahmana Shastri had reproduced this text from his memory to his disciples, who had taken it out, who had written it on paper, and then had handed over it to technical men, like like engineers or overseers, who built sketches of planes according to this description. This Vimana Shastra describes various types of planes from this description. One is the Tripura type, the circular type, which bears close affinity with the UFOs of nowadays. The UFOs are a reality, and although the government is not disclosing the fact behind UFOs, but it is a reality. And these are circular planes. The Vimana first says there is a Tripura Vimana. Then there was a Shokuna Vimana, a bird-like, which agrees with Saran description, like a modern plane. And then the Tripura Vimana, Shokuna Vimana, and the Rukma Vimana. Rukma means gold or silver. Rukma Vimana, shining like gold or silver. It is a triangular and tapering like a hill and going straight vertically upwards. We combine these three descriptions. Vimana Shastra further gives the technical background of construction. They have referred to as many as 49 earlier authorities in this book and about 100 texts on technical details, the technical apparatus, so to say, including liquid fuel, the Rajaloha, the iron or steel, which was used for construction, and the controlling devices, the propeller, and all technical details covering Vimana. This Vimana Shastra gave me a very good help in comparing my literary descriptions with the technical details. Joseph Blumrich was kind to examine my book in detail, and he gave me a clean authority that I can publish it, and it will be an asset of world history. It was his opinion. I do not know whether Joseph Blumrich is still living or not. I have no touch at present, but I have profound respect for this gentleman. Also, Professor Harry Rupe of the Technical University, Munich, he also helped me, and he also examined all the details, the technical aspect, the aspect use of liquid fuel. Now in India, later on, I came to know that the Vikramanga Deva Charita of Bilhana, a work of 9th century AD, that book refers to Parashika Toila, Persian oil. They gives a clean description of Parashika oil. Parashika oil is used by soldiers at the time of fight. It was very cold, so they were using burnt or flame or burning Parashika oil for their use. What sort of use it is not clear, but the text says that Parashika oil was used. So in the 9th century, Parashika oil was used in flying machines. In the Vimana Shastra also, there are descriptions of 4 pitchers, not 3. In the Vedic text, there are 3 pitchers, but they refer to 4 pitchers. 4 pitchers full of liquid fuel. They have also used the term Rasa. It may be Parashika oil, it may be mercury oil, it may be liquid mercury, or it may be hydrogen gas, anything. But they have used that liquid fuel. And liquid fuel was used in the 12th century also, when Saran refers to the flying machines. Now a very pertinent criticism has been leveled against my findings is that there were foreign invasions in India from 3rd, 4th century BC to 12th century BC, 12th century AD, from the ending in Turko-Afghan Mughal conquest of India. During this long period, had the Indians knowledge of the planes, they did not use it. On this point, I said that the Mahabharata refers to Shubhapura Vimana used by Asura Raja, Asura king of Asura Shallo against the siege of Dwaraka. And the description also is very detailed there. Shallo invaded Mathura with the Shubhapura plane. And he used to throw rockets or stones or missiles, and so for protecting them, Krishna invited all the people in a covered place, all the people of Mathura in a covered place, and after that there was a fight. Krishna used a flying machine, rocket, flying ground to air rocket. That rocket hit the Shubhapura plane in the middle, and the plane broke into pieces and fell on the Arabian Sea. The description is beautiful there. But apart from this description, there are no other descriptions of planes being used in warfare. So it may be that the use of the knowledge of flying machines, it was confined among the elite or the upper class of the society. Only before Second World War also, when planes were introduced in India in 1922, it was a matter of pleasure only for the very rich people or politicians to use planes. Even now, today, not the majority of the people, but only a very small portion of people, they are also elites. They use planes. And the politicians, the leaders, the ministers, they use planes. So the use of plane is not a very common matter, and it is not confined to the ordinary people, common people. Ordinary people, they go on in buses or trams or whatever it may be. But flying machines are not, even now today, very not very social or political, social or mass-like. They are all used by elite people, rich people. So in the age of the Mahabharata too, the knowledge of the Vimana, it was confined among the elite or the learned man. So the Samanama Suddhadhara in one place says, Mantranam Ghatana Nukta Kuptartham No Kuda Vasat. We are concealing these descriptions, technical descriptions of these machines, not from ignorance, but to protect these, to keep secret of these details from the ordinary people. Guptartham, no Gutavasat. Because if this knowledge becomes a matter of common use, then many people may use planes for mischievous purposes. We have today also the hijacking of planes, which could lead in very critical situation. So it was their also feeling that if the use of planes is spread among the common mass, then there may be misuses. So to prevent misuse, they kept it a secret. Because in the whole of the Mahabharata, we have description of nuclear warfare. Ashwatthama used a weapon, a nuclear weapon, which Arjuna neutralized by using a missile, powerful missile. There are other kings also who used atomic bombs or similar destructive weapon made of atom, but these were all neutralized. So we have a description of both rockets or missiles and a display of atomic bombs. But these are kept secret and these are not allowed for the ordinary people. There are descriptions of Krishna checking the use of atomic weapons only for protecting the people of the world from destruction. And that the war of Muhammad, it was a reality, and it gave it a massive destruction. It can be assumed from, it can be it can be gathered from the Sri Parva of the Mahabharata, which says that about 220 or more people, 220 crores of people died in the battle. And not the 16th of Shuveni, which is stated in the earlier part of the Mahabharata. And about 500 crores of people, they were made homeless, or they were found wandering throughout the country in search of their relatives. And only the ladies remained to offer funeral rites to their husbands and departed relatives. This description, if we judge critically, it shows that there was a colossal war and colossal destruction, and after that, almost all the male beings were killed. They were made of no use in society, and the funeral rites or the post-war construction, everything that was done by the ladies of that time. We can glean this from, because the Mahabharata, the Europeans say the Mahabharata is just 400 BC before the birth of Christ. It was written. That is not in fact. The ancient Indian tradition says, the technical tradition that says that the Mahabharata war took place 3,123 years before the birth of Christ. From today, it becomes about 5,000 years before the birth of Christ. So, the Mahabharata war took place long back, and it was a great war, First World War or Second World War combined, and involving all the territories of India at that time, and the destruction is unthinkable. There are also a criticism, there is that from inscriptional discoveries, from archaeological discoveries, we have found many materials of war, evidence of materials of war, evidence of the art, and evidence of evidence of excellence in art and war. In art, there are various beautiful idols strewn over the museums of India and also of Europe. All these have been found, but no evidence of a Vimana flying machine has been found. In that case, I have referred to a flying machine which was shown to me by Dr. Khalil Messiah, the curator of the Museum of Egypt, in 1983 when I went to Vienna. Coming from Vienna, I had a stopover at Cairo, and from Cairo we went probably 70 or 80 miles by bus to a north destination, and therein Dr. Messiah took me to a pyramid. So pyramid, wherein there is a flying machine made of wood, and which has been preserved under a glass case under strict security. I examined that plane, and I found that yes, it conforms to a small prototype of a plane, because the wings those are made of wood, but they corroborated, or they reciprocated the planes, wings of the planes, modern wings of the planes. And there are other parts which also bear some resemblance with the plane. I was not satisfied, and then Khalil Messiah gave me some papers, but they found that the Egyptian government had accepted it as the description of as the replica of plane, model plane, which was used 300 years before the birth of Christ in Egypt. So this is an evidence of a plane not in India but in territories which are close to India. And North India being the place of war or destruction, it may be surmised that somehow or other in North India this tradition survived, and they have kept it. In India there are so many foreign invasions that no relic of any human civilization survives. Only there are the universities are all destroyed, the Bhandaras, the treasuries, they are all looted and they are all burnt. There are large-scale conversions, and so after this, nothing remained for the Indians to boast of. South India, of course, remained something. So this is the position of my study of the flying machines. Dr. Khalil Messiah gave me a very beautiful photo of that plane, which I have used in my book, which will be coming very soon. And in this connection, also I came about this attempt of, I came about to know the attempt of Mr. Talpule to build a plane. In 1898, Mr. Talpule, he was an archaeologist and a teacher, probably a teacher. He constructed a plane after following the Vimana, Shastra, as well as of the Rigveda, the descriptions from the Rigveda. And he experimented it on the Chowpatty shore of Bombay in the presence of Maharaja Gaikwad, at the then Maharaja of Gaikwad, and Mr. Ranade and other elites of Maharashtra who were present. And the plane went up to 1,000 feet in the sky. It flew there, it soared there, and then came back. This is a description which appeared in the paper Searchlight of Bihar and also in other newspapers. But we have not much details. Mr. Ajit Datto, who was the translator of Daniken's books in India, he went to Pune to search about these manuscripts, and I found a copy of Vimana College Shoulder, which was the original book of Talpule, a copy of that book with him. But later on I couldn't discover any copy from his house. Of course, now he is no more and nothing can be gleaned. But Talpule was an enthusiast worker, and he built the plane, it is a fact, and he soared high in the sky. It attracted the attention of the people of that time and probably the wrath of the British government, because Talpule was under pressure to sell it to the Raleigh brothers, and for want of money or something, it may be that he was not in a position to pursue his profession to perfection. He died an untimely death. He was about 49 at that time when he died. And after that, his family members, they sold the machine with all its details to Raleigh brothers. This is the fact which I came to know. But Talpule is a great enthusiast and a pioneer aviation expert in India. It can be said easily. So now I am waiting for my book, which will be published very soon. The first edition has been published and it has attracted world attention. The second book, with revised opinion, is under press. And in that connection, I shall refer to the opinion of the scholars and scientists of India. Mr. Nalikar, J.B. Nalikar, Nalikar, the noted space scientist. He wrote me that your book is very interesting, but it is an interpretation on hindsight. But this is just sparing the possibility, because all interpretations of scientific texts, science discoveries, these are all matters of hindsight. Just at the time, not all discoveries are instant productions. Some are through researches, and all researches are also hind efforts. And Mr. Jogani Bhattacharya, another space scientist, he said that too much importance has been given over the legends. Legends cannot be accepted as the basis of history. The legends might be imaginary. I replied to him that Renan, in his Life of Jesus, in the introduction to his Life of Jesus, he said that there is no inscriptional evidence of about the life of Jesus, about the birth of Jesus. But all these are gleaned from the legends. Taking up the legends and analyzing the threadbare, we can discover the truth, find out the truth, and then we are taking the truth to establish the life of Jesus. So, legends, when analyzed, it gives out some element of truth. And so, though Jagadish Bhattacharya in a skeptic mood said that it contains only legends, the basis of legends, these legends when analyzed, and we have analyzed it threadbare, these give us some details about the technical aspect of flying machines. And there are other scholars who have also accepted. This is the latest position of my book, and I shall be happy if you get the book at the earliest opportunity. I don't find any reference to the Tripura Vimana, but the Somarangan Sutradhar refers to various varieties of Vimana. These become amazing, the descriptions. All these descriptions in Somarangan Sutradhar correspond to modern space research. Modern space findings, they refer to Mariner, so Suez, Vostok, and all other types. There are round types, there are square types, there are octagonal types, and there are hectagonal types. But here, Vimana refers to this type, and amazingly, the modern UFOs, unseen flying objects, these are realities. These UFOs conform to this size, the Tripura size. This is very practicable, and this counteracts the space, the attractions in the space, the changes of atmosphere in the space. And I am showing you another one, the Vimana. This is the Rukma Vimana. Rukma Vimana and Sundara Vimana, the same type. Rukma Vimana, Sundara Vimana, these two types have been referred to in Sanskrit literature. Probably the Vedic description conforms to this Rukma Vimana. Probably the Vedic literature conforms to this type. And Kalidasa's description also conforms to this type, actually. Because the Somarangan Sutradhar this is also the Sundara type, this one. Kalidasa's description conforms to this one. The Abhigana Shakuntalam also conforms to this one description, this type particularly. I have used this type, this model in my book. Now, in the Somarangan Sutradhar, there is a description in chapter 49 of the book. Therein it is said that Brahma, in days of yore, Brahma established 5 Vimanas. The Vimanas have two meanings. Vimanas, firstly, it means flying machine, and secondly, Vimana means very tall, very high-rise buildings. Vimana, so 7 stories or 8 story buildings. These are not, these have no reality at present. But the excavations at Patna, they reveal there was a 7-storied wooden building in time of Ashoka. So 7 type or 8 type buildings, these were realities at that time. And Vimana, because the uppermost part of the Vimana went into the sky, so from similarity with Vimana which flies to the sky, and these buildings which are tall, high-rise buildings, some similarity has been drawn. So Vimana Bomojanicha Sapta Bhumecha Sadmani. The lexicographers, they describe Vimana as flying machines as well as 7-storied buildings. These two have been more or less identical. But Somarangan Sutradhar refers to about 40 such types I have not all this in my memory at present, but I remember there are second-story buildings. The Samanagam Suddhara says that Brahma built five machines, five flying machines. These are for the more important deities, for Indra, Kubera, Jamo, Agni and Varuna. They built these planes for these deities, and on the model of these planes, later temples were established. This is very unique revelation. The ancient world people, they saw the planes. They were charmed with the constructional peculiarity of these of the various types of machines, and they began to build houses on the model of these planes. And probably from this feeling, the temples and Samanagam says the temples and residential buildings were all built on the model of flying machines. We have no historical record to confirm this, but the sacrosanct feeling with temples, it is a sacred place and it cannot be used by each and everybody, has some basis which we can trace to this description, because these temples were sacred places. There are some restrictions about entering into these temples by all people. They could enter one by one, and the sanctity of the places of the temples had to be maintained at all cost. This description is subject to verification, is subject to analysis, but it is a fact that Samanagam Suddhara gives an important revelation about old world archaeology and the origin of that archaeology. I have not the details of the NASA findings, but NASA authorities, they also say there are 7 types, 7 hectagonal, hectagonal or octagonal or pentagonal types of planes are possible, and they have given pictures of these planes in their findings. Now, this is a very interesting thing.